Welcome to 15 Minute Theatre, the only review show that squeezes a whole production into 900 seconds. The date is 29th of November 2017, and we've just been to see Ink. Open the house. Hello, I'm James.
Hello, I'm Vicky.
How you doing, Vicky?
I'm alright, thanks. How are you?
Well, to be honest, I'm not very well.
Oh no, what's wrong?
I've got pink eye.
Oh, weepy eyeball.
Weepy eyeball. Sticky weepy eyeball.
Oh, you're such a delight.
But, nevertheless, we've just got back from seeing Ink at the Duke of York Theatre.
Yeah, I think it's the Duke of York's
Oh, is
Theatre.
it? Does he
Yeah.
own it?
I believe probably not.
Oh, well, you learn something new every day. All right, so Ink, it's by James Graham, directed by Rupert Goold. It's Bertie Carvel and Richard Coyle, and it's running until the 6th of January 2018.
Yes, I believe so.
So, before we get into it, tell us what's it about.
So it is basically about the setting up of the newspaper The Sun.
Mm-hmm. I'm not setting up the newspaper The Sun, because that was going for a long time.
Oh yeah, sorry, no. So basically, the Rupert Murdoch buys The Sun. So setting up The Sun as we know it. So he buys The Sun. He has a very quick turnaround for his first copy, and they decide to sort of go to areas that no newspaper's gone to before, i.e., make it very populist. And yeah, there you go. That's the basic premise.
I've got a Sun headline for you.
Yeah, what's that?
I bloody loved it.
Oh, it's not a pun though, is it?
Oh.
We should have spent a bit of time thinking of some puns, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Oh, well,
Freddie Starr ate my theatre performance. No, that doesn't work.
Maybe we'll think of one as we go along.
Okay, maybe.
All right, so before we start, I just want to mention a couple of things, a bit of housekeeping.
Okay.
Right, the seats. I was squashed into that seat.
Yeah, this is not the only time we've been to this theatre, is it? And they are very tight.
Very tight.
They're made for small people in the past,
Yeah.
and normal-sized people sadly have a bit of a problem with sitting in them.
And oversized people...
Like yourself. Particularly difficult. In fact, I think you used a bit of my space as well.
I think I had to. And it did have a running time of 3 hours, so it wasn't short.
It was not short. Yeah, you're correct.
So it made it difficult. And also, we had a woman sitting next to us who
you were terrified of.
She was very scary. She made she noticed somebody was using their mobile phone 5 minutes before the show started.
Yeah.
So she told somebody else to tell them to turn it off.
I know, she's passing the buck.
I think
slightly.
She was like a French teacher or something.
She could have been a teacher, quite possibly.
Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Okay, so first thoughts, what did you reckon?
I really enjoyed it. I say this as often about things we've been to see, like it's a surprise. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well done. I thought the dialogue was very snappy. It was very witty. Characters are very good. What's not to like, really?
I mean, in the nature of telling a good story in a newspaper, it told an amazing story.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, Rupert Murdoch is a figure who we all love to hate. And
speak for yourself. I think he's great.
Okay. Rupert Murdoch is a figure that many people in their right minds love to hate. So to sort of see... Because obviously us being the generation that we are, we don't know him from back in the day. We know him more as an old man and the scandals and stuff that have been going on recently. And it's sort of interesting to see what he was supposedly like in that time and how he behaved. And yeah, it was a good premise for a play, that's for sure. Yeah,
and it raced along. You know, you're interested in the narrative, interested in the story, in the plot.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. So let's just focus on a few performances. It was quite a large cast. There was about 12 on there. 12, 13.
Did you do a head count?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
I think there was about 13 in it.
Okay.
But anyone stand out for you?
Yes. I would say in particular I'm not sure how you actually say his name. Bertie Carvel? Bertie Carvel.
Bertie Cavell.
Bertie Cavell.
Carvel.
Who played Rupert Murdoch, who many people will know from being the horrible husband in Dr. Foster.
Or Rising Damp.
And he was also in Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
And The Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin.
Was he in that?
No, but I did think he did a startling impersonation of Leonard Rossiter.
Okay, I can see where you're going with that. But I thought he was really, really, really good as Rupert Murdoch.
You can see where you're going, but you're not interested.
Well, no, because I'm trying to discuss this. Okay. You've asked me a question, and then you're just being like, "Oh, it's Leonard Rossiter." His physicality was really good. Like I didn't know it was this same guy. He really sort of took on Murdoch on all the levels.
Yeah.
I thought he was excellent.
I did as well.
Yeah.
And we should also mention the guy who played, was it Larry Lamb?
Larry Lamb, yeah. George Lamb's father.
Yeah. Who played the editor of that.
Another guy called Larry Lamb, who would have thought it? Richard Coyle, yeah, also been in many things, popular things.
Anyone you want to mention?
And then there's my friend, of course, a lady called Sophie Stanton, who you might have seen in EastEnders quite a lot. She often plays a detective. You know, someone's done a crime.
Well, everyone's done a bad crime. She turns up.
She come. I'm not that I watch EastEnders, of course,
but more notably,
I worked on a sitcom many years ago, and she was in it, and I spent many hours rehearsing with her.
What was the sitcom?
It was a sitcom that sadly never went to air. It was called Odd Socks. And she is a very lovely lady. So I was delighted to see her on the stage.
You should have sent her some flowers or something.
Well, if I'd have known, if I'd have actually looked at the poster before we went, maybe I would have.
But she was brilliant. I mean, they created the newsroom, didn't they? And they pulled the team together.
Yeah.
And they all brought something interesting to it. They were, they were larger than life characters, and they were fun to watch. And certainly the first half, there was lots of fun. I mean, I quite liked the recruitment conga.
Yeah, they did a dance, didn't they? Which was really unexpected.
Yeah, every time they took someone on, they were all doing this little dance. So there was lots of levity and excitement of getting the paper on. And then the second act was a little bit darker, I suppose.
Yeah, it was very witty, wasn't it? It was very well written, and it was funny, and and then it did take a turn for the dark a bit later on. But yeah, no, it was great. It really whizzed along.
So, you like the script then?
I thought the script was really good.
Yeah. Really
good. I mean, I did keep thinking, is this stuff that people actually said? Do we know? How do we know? Have they just made this up, or is there like stuff that actually happened that people know about? But that doesn't matter, I don't think.
Well, I suppose that happens in any story that's based on true events.
I do think about that with The Crown as well, a lot on Netflix.
Well, apparently there's this kind of new kind of system where, they'll put at the start of a film, this film is based mostly on true events, which basically means they've made a load of stuff up to make it more exciting.
I'm sure they did make a lot of it up, but it was...
I don't know, because I thought they were going to be really down on Murdoch and all that, and it didn't really come across like that. It was quite sympathetic to his character, I thought.
Well, I don't know whether it was particularly sympathetic. I mean, he did sort of say that he didn't have any friends, and he was trying to get Larry Lamb to be more horrible to people. So
What's wrong with
that? So I don't think he didn't come across as a nice guy, but he didn't come across as maybe the sort of evil figure that many people see him to be now. But, it's early days. He was just starting out. Maybe he hadn't quite reached those heights yet. The dizzying heights of evilness.
But I thought it was a very enjoyable romp.
Yeah.
And even though the seats were small and it went on a bit, it didn't feel it was over long or anything.
No, well, they had a lot to get through. There were many puns that they had to get through.
Do you remember any headlines that they brought up?
Oh, there was a headline, if I look in the programme. Yeah, but the first one, wasn't it, man kills himself and runs away?
No, the first one was like the horse, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, horse type sensation, which apparently was going to be longer, but they didn't order enough big E's for the title. And if that's true, that's quite a nice little story to put in, isn't it?
And there's a few. Anyway, we won't go into those because we'll be here all night. What about the staging?
Now, when I first saw the set, I found it a bit overwhelming and a bit confusing. It reminded me, I don't know why I thought of Terry Gilliam's Brazil.
Okay.
It's quite nuts. The set's quite nuts.
Yeah.
It's like lots of desks piled up.
On different levels.
On different levels. There's a lot of stuff.
And I did like the convention. They had like a trapdoor, and my God, did they use that trapdoor? Up and down, desk here, table there.
Bench.
Yeah,
all sorts of stuff came out of that trapdoor, didn't it?
But right at the start, they talked about the 5 rules of journalism, didn't they? Who, what, where, why, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And every time they said one, a W appeared.
Yeah.
And so for the first half, basically, I could only see 4 W's.
Yeah, because we were sat quite high, weren't we? And the speaker was in way.
Speaker of what, the other W?
Yeah.
I was relieved to see that W when I stood up.
Yeah, I could sense how worried you were about that.
It was playing on my mind. It was quite a crowded set.
Yeah.
It gave a nice illusion, but I thought it was a bit too crowded.
Messed with my head a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, as it went on, it became a bit less intrusive. But basically, there was hardly any stage for them to act because there was so much set.
Yeah.
They were quite restricted.
Especially when they were doing their recruitment dance.
Yeah, it was.
Not a lot of room. Okay, what about the lighting and sound?
Lighting, I don't think was. Nothing struck me as being particularly special about the lighting.
Except they kept missing their lights. Every time they did a spotlight, they seemed to be just out of the spotlight, I thought.
Maybe that was purposeful.
Do you think?
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
The projection at the back was pretty good. There was a lot of. There was like some big screens at the back, weren't there, that they used quite a lot, which was quite good to show papers and headlines. And there was one point where Rupert Murdoch was being interviewed on TV, and they showed it on the
I love
the big
that.
screens.
Yeah,
that
really
was well done, wasn't it?
Yeah, which makes me think that must have been pretty faithful to what happened at the time.
Yeah, you'd think so. I'd be interested to see if we could find that on the YouTube.
On the YouTube, yeah. Look. Okay, and any standout moments for her?
Yes. There was a bit where they were trying to get the first issue off the ground, and they were doing lots of brainstorming. And they sort of did a first page, and then they didn't like it, so they were trying to come up with ideas. There's a dog in here playing with toys, in case anyone's wondering what the strange squeaking is.
Feeling left out.
So they were coming up with ideas of what they were talking about, what they all liked and what they wanted to see. And it was like women, football, and then one guy was like, weather, and he's like, let's put the weather on page 2. On page 2? Yes, I like weather. I want to talk about the weather. And that bit really tickled me, because the guy was quite a sort of well-spoken, sort of slightly nerdy chap, wasn't he? And he got so excited about the weather.
Yeah.
So that was, for me, was a really standout bit.
I don't think there was any real standout moments for me. I mean,
the dancing, you've been banging on about the dancing.
I know, but I don't want to say it again.
I just love the dancing.
And I thought what happened in the second act, when it got a bit darker, was kind of really. I was very interested to see where it was going and all that.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any huge standout moments. All right, okay, so we're going to take a break and we'll come back with the all-important score, shall we?
Sure, why not?
So before we get onto the scores feature,
The scores feature, a brand new feature, the scores.
Before we get into the scores, Vicky, we've got our feature.
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
So we've got 2 on the leaderboard at the moment. This is where we price a bottle of water from the venue.
Yeah.
In first place at the moment, the cheapest is the Young Vic with £1.70.
Bargain.
And right at the bottom of our league table, at number 2, is the Phoenix Theatre for £2.70.
Yeah.
That's a whole pound difference for a bottle of water.
I know, it's ridiculous.
So, Vicky, how much was the water at the Duke of York's theatre?
It was £2.70. So I wonder, this is a part of the Ambassador...
Don't pull back the curtain.
This is part of the Ambassador Theatre Group.
You're pulling back the curtain.
Okay.
Do you know what that means?
No.
You know, in The Wizard of Oz, when they pull back the curtain
Sorry.
and they reveal the magic.
Okay, I'm not revealing any magic.
Well, you are. Well, okay. Go on then.
I'm just saying I feel like it might be part of the same theatre group that the Phoenix is part of.
Well,
That's why they have the same price. I don't know because I need to look at that.
Okay, well, let's put the curtain back.
Replace the curtain.
Okay, so it means well done, Young Vic. You're still in the lead with £1.70.
I think Young Vic's going to be hard to beat.
Oh, good. Well, we'll see. Maybe this feature will have a bit of a revolution for every water cellar in Theatreland.
Well, it's poor because what if you really need a drink and what if you have some sort of water problem? You really need a drink.
And they don't from the toilet, gets from the tap.
Well, they might. I'm sure you can probably actually get tap water.
Anyway,
that's the most fun bit that we spend half our time on the water feature.
Okay, so we're getting on to the scores now. I had a little problem with it last time, and I don't know if you remember.
I
do
remember. You got in a bit of a kerfuddle, didn't you?
It's fine. So we're going to mark each area out of 10 each. So performances, Vicky, you can start.
So I'm doing 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think they were all very strong, and I don't normally like to give things full mark because I feel like it's a bit. I've got nowhere to go. But they were very, very good. Oh man, I don't know. 9.
Okay. I'm also going to give it a 9.
Okay.
I thought good performances. All right. So staging and technical. Well, we kind of talked about this. The set was a little bit overcrowded, so I'm going to be quite harsh on this and give it a 5.
So I'm going to give it a 7 because I think like what they did with the screens was really good, and there were certain bits that were really good. You know, like when they had there's a bit where they were trying to do like a chart, but with ribbons, where they were putting ribbons, and that was all quite good. So I'm going to go 7.
Okay, brilliant. Right, narrative.
I'm going to go 9 again. Strong, very strong.
Yeah, it's a good story.
But I think they were basing it on stuff that actually happened.
But that's okay.
Allegedly.
that's the same as what they did with Titanic.
The film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All happened.
Yeah, all of it.
I've got the jewel.
Have you?
Yeah.
Can I have it?
No.
All right.
I'm also going to give it a 9. Well done.
Okay.
Originality. I'm going to give it an 8.
Why are you giving it an 8?
Because it's not original. It's based on events that have already happened.
Yeah, but the way it was done was quite original.
Yeah. Well, you can give it whatever you like.
Oh, I just don't want to be. I don't want to be too. So I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. Quick.
Well, I'm going to have to rush you. It's 15.
Okay, I'm going to go 8 again. I'm going to go 8 as well because.
You're going to go 8.
Yeah, because
Okay, and finally, originality. Oh no, we've done that. Was it worth it?
I'm going to go for a 10.
Going to give it a 10?
Yeah, because I really do think it was worth it.
Okay.
I'm being generous. I'm in a generous mood.
That's pretty good. I really enjoyed it, but I'm going to give it a 9. Mark it down a little bit because there wasn't any huge stand-up moments. I didn't feel any catharsis.
What about the dancing?
Love dancing, but I am sticking with my 9. All right, so
okay. I'm really sorry you didn't feel any catharsis in that.
I'm now going to use a calculator to add these scores up because apparently I keep getting it wrong. So
there's no apparently about it.
So while I add up the scores, maybe Vicky, you can say something about something.
So I don't really know what to say. So I believe the next show that we're going to see, unless illness strikes us both down, which, as you can hear by my voice, and we've already discussed James's pink eye, may happen, we're going to see Showstoppers, the improvised musical, which I'm very excited about. So on our next podcast, we will be talking about that.
Great.
And just in time, James has done the scores.
Okay.
I feel like you've not given me enough there. Sorry, I'm just judging James on his scoring. I think he's gone too low. That's too low.
Yeah, it is too low, but I've added them all together. I'll do it again. All right, let's...
I don't know how to fill the time.
Okay.
I feel like I should have some... Oh, maybe I could read you something from the programme.
No.
I'll read you some Sun headlines that they've put in the programme. My particular favourite is, how do you solve a problem like Korea? This is a newspaper that we all should be reading. Girl eats 4,000 washing up sponges. That is a front page headline.
Oh my God.
Again, let's point you towards this for your next newspaper purchase. James, have you redone those scores?
I've redone the scores
okay.
of that, yeah. Right. Jeez, it's harder than it looks. Right, okay, so we have got 83 out of 100. Okay, so to get our 5-star rating, I'll do the calculation. It gets a 4.2 star rating. So that's 4 stars.
That's out of 5. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Four stars.
I mean, I do feel mean because I do think it was very, very good.
I know, but we can't mark everything really high.
No,
I think that's pretty high. 4.2 is good.
I guess, but if my dear friend that's in the if my dear friend Sophie hears this, she'll be very disappointed, and we'll never work together again.
Okay, well look, Vicky, I'm afraid that's the theatre bell.
Okay.
Ringing in our ears.
Oh yes, I can hear it.
There we go. Means we're out of time. So thanks for listening. I've been James.
I've been Vicky.
The curtain's down, the theatre's dark, and that was 15 Minute Theatre. Good night. If you're brave enough to have your theatre production reviewed, please contact us at 15minutetheatre@gmail.com, find us on Twitter, and please rate and review us on iTunes. Thanks for listening.